problem.
Right, so it's Mark Atwood Show, Adventures in a Meat Suit. Today, I have the great honour of being joined by Ashley Lane, otherwise known as Ash the Flash, the former Commonwealth Super Bantamweight champion. And it's amazing to be able to speak to you, Ash. How are you?
Yeah, I'm a good, thanks, Mark. This is a bit surreal, mate. I've been listening to you for a few months now.
It's surreal for you, surreal for me.
No, I've been listening to you for a few months now, me and my partner. So like, when she said that you wanted to get me on the show, I was a bit like dumbfounded.
Well,
I
was dumbfounded first because I got an email off Shelley a couple of weeks ago saying, "Oh, Ashley wants to use your poem to go on to this big fight in Wembley," and I was like, "That's never going to happen."
I didn't think it would happen either.
It's like, firstly, hang on, I've got a cat trying to walk across my computer. Firstly, I thought, what, a boxer wants to use a poem to go on? That's it's usually James Brown or something. And then secondly, when she wrote to me and said Sky Sports, I was like, there's no way Sky Sports is going to let that on.
To be honest, they were kicking up a little bit of a fuss about it the day before, and I wasn't sure if they were going to have it on in the end, but we managed to pull a few strings and get it done. So
they talked over it plenty so that you couldn't really hear it anyway. But
one of the strings they pulled.
Look, I'm sorry about what happened in the fight. That was a good match. I was watching it in the car with my son this morning. It was a tough fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was just one of those. I mean, I retired back in September, so I haven't really been training consistently since like March when the whole lockdown COVID happened.
Yeah.
And like and then they asked us like they basically rang us up and said, "Do you want this fight in like 2.5 weeks?" So I only had 2 weeks training for a fight.
Oh wow!
And he obviously boxes full time. He was in the Olympics. He'd had 200 amateur fights. He'd won 180. So I was up against it straight away.
Yeah.
And but I love a challenge, and to be honest, like I had to take it because I've been asking the universe for it. With everything that's been going on recently, like me and my partner, we've kind of like worked out the keys to the universe, as you say, with like the energy and frequency and everything. So we've been manifesting a lot recently. Brilliant. Raising the vibrations, manifesting. So I've been asking for like finances for what we're manifesting, and to get our phone call come up with that, that was giving us the finances to be able to invest to get what we want.
Brilliant.
So it's kind of like you've got to meet the universe halfway, haven't you? So I knew I'd take a few licks in the ring. Like I knew I'd take a few. It's worth it.
100%. So, Ash, you from Northampton? I've read that you're from Northampton.
Yeah, I was born in Northampton, and I live down in Bristol now.
Because I was born in Northampton as well. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Whereabouts were you? Where were you born?
I was born at the General Hospital, but
Where was I?
No, I lived in Dustin.
Yeah, well, my dad went to school in Dustin. I was brought up in Budbrook, just down the road.
Yeah, I know Budbrook.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
It's such a small world.
No shit. It's really funny. So what on earth made you want to use? I mean, I know you get a lot of boxing interviews. This is going to be probably the first time a poet's interviewed you. But how did this happen? What made you want to use that poem? And thank you, by the way. I haven't publicly said thank you because it was just a major treat for me. And I didn't realize how cool it was until my son saw it, and he was like, "What?" And it was just amazing. So I really, really appreciate the fact that you did it.
No problem at all. Basically, with everything that's going on, we were me and my partner we've raised our consciousness up pretty high, like, or expand our consciousness to an extent where, like, we know everything that's going on without having to research. We
Brilliant.
just know instinctively.
Yeah.
Like, well, when this all started, I used to listen to a lot of people. I used to research the World Economic Forum, the NHS website. I used to do all of that, and I was getting into fear. We came off that. I was listening to JCK, Michael J. Co, and you, and Mark Devlin. And a couple of weeks ago, Shelley shared your poem to me, "Best Is Yet to Come," and it was just like, it just lifted the vibrations.
Wow.
That's what, it just like instill. I've listened to it a few times now. It just lifts the vibrations, instills, and it's like, to me, it's like a coded poem, because it talks about what's going on, the people that's saving the planet, so to speak, and whatnot, the white hats and Trump, but without actually going all into it. It's like, you have to for that. To me, I wanted to use that poem because I know they only played a little part of it, but to me, it's like, that poem. You've either, if the curtains are drawn back for you, then you know exactly what the poem means. And if the curtains haven't drawn back, but you're on the edge, that poem can maybe draw back the curtains for you a little bit. You listen to that poem and you think, "Oh, who's he talking about? What does that mean?" And then you ask questions, and that's how you find the answers. So I wanted to use it to really try and help expand um, the people's consciousness. Really, I mean, um, I'm when I got that call for the fight, I thought to myself, I'm very lucky. One, because the universe has given me what I want. But two, I'm very lucky because I'm now in a position where I can help to raise consciousness through the platform, even though it's temporary, through the platform that I've been given. So I wore a face mask with a sheep on.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I wore a
Brilliant.
face mask with a sheep. So that was, that could show people, that well, basically everyone wears a mask as a sheep. Yeah, like, I mean, and then the poem just to raise people's consciousness. You know, that's that's what my journey, my plan is at the moment, and that was a perfect opportunity to do it.
Well, I thought that was amazing on loads of levels. I mean, put me out of the equation. What you said about the poem is true. It was written as a manifesting vibrational frequency poem, and it came through me. And it's when we're connected to the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, and it comes through you, it's a magical thing. And to see it used like that by somebody in sport is just amazing, because sport this year has been used as a massive weapon against the people, with all this getting down on knees and stuff before football matches. And, the pressure on, sports stars is huge to conform to this fascistic, communistic corporatocracy that's been going on, that's like taking all the fun out of it, for one thing. So to see somebody, I mean, boxing for me is anybody that gets into that ring is one of the bravest people alive, anyway, as far as I'm concerned. I have massive respect for what you guys do in the ring. But to have the guts as well to go out and do that is incredible, because there's so few people with a public profile that have got the bollocks to do it. So I commend you for that, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to hear you speak like this. It really is.
Thank you. Well, like, I mean, I've been called a light worker like a few months back, by a few people, and
sorry, Ash, you're a Bantam light worker.
dropping down in weight as well. It's too small. I am, yeah, but now I am like, and I now do see myself as what I'm doing, what Shelley's doing. We are light workers. Like, every day I go into work, I'm like trying to raise vibration, trying like with little bits you say, trying to raise a little bit of consciousness, just to open people's eyes up a little bit. And we've all been put in certain positions, haven't we, to have an effect.
Yeah.
So for me, that was just one of those times where I could have a little bit of a bigger effect on the whole, or a bit more of the consciousness of the planet than just a small group of people in a warehouse. But like I had to do that with a mask and with a poem because it's like as you know, it's quite frustrating and upsetting to see so many people giving their power
Yeah.
away. You know, I saw today that Bristol have dropped from a tier 3 to a tier 2, and they've got like all I'm seeing from there is just everybody's just like, really happy we can go out as tier 2. I feel so happy. I'm saying, look what's going on. They're giving your power away.
Yeah.
Like you're captives, so letting you out for 10 minutes of sunshine before you get locked back up again. And you're thanking them for it.
Yeah.
Like stand in your truth, stand in your power. And being on a platform like that, like you say, there's so much pressure to conform. Like I went there, we had to have the test. I know I have to do a few things I didn't want to do just to get a little bit of a message out there. But we have to sacrifice ourselves sometimes. But everyone, it was just so strict. Everybody had to wear a mask everywhere they went. We had to conform to certain things. And it like somebody with some sort of profile, even though I'm not the biggest profile, I'm a profile. And
Yeah.
just like you, somebody's got to stand there and say, like, enough's enough. You got to stand in your truth. You know, we are suffering people. We have to do it, you know, and you've been doing it for a while, and it was just my opportunity. And I used your poem because that's a great way to raise the vibrations. And to be honest, walking into the ring, listening to that poem, I listened to every word as I walked into that ring. I looked like it helped me because I look calm as I look so calm and so confident on the outside, but inside I knew I was getting a pasting. So I was myself.
Yeah, you're gonna make me cry in a minute. So, what's your, you know, were you like this as a kid? Did you know, you know, how did you get to this point where? Because it's great, it's amazing to hear people talk like you're talking, and there's loads of kids out there that are boxing fans that need to hear this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And sports fans, and we need more people to. I'm sure there's loads of footballers and people like that feel the same way, but feel that they can't do it because they've got contracts and the money's too big and blah blah blah. It does take massive. You know, you're going up against the biggest machine in the world, which is the media, and you know, Sky and BBC and all of that. They're doing everything they can to reinforce this matrix onto us. So it's when did this start with you? This awareness of consciousness and connection.
So it all started for me beginning weeks of April. But like you say, we're going up against the biggest like enemy out there really in the media. It's all just perspective, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah.
It's not the biggest enemy because the biggest enemy that we feel has been beaten. You know what I mean? The battle's already won. So to me, doing that and standing up for, like, I'm not fighting anyone. All I'm doing is waking people up because the battle's already won. So like, you know, but April was when I first, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, I'll hold my hands up. I was sucked into the fear big time at the beginning. You know, I really was. And you know, I was going to work in the warehouse, and I'd say, you know, look at all these people out driving, what they doing? You know, we're meant to be locked up, blah blah blah. And I had a few friends that, you know, messaging me and saying, look, this ain't true, open your eyes. And then one of my mates, Carol, he sent me The Fall of Cabal, parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh, brilliant, yeah. So I mean, I was just starting to question things. I watched The Fall of the Cabal, and it just opened my eyes up. It was unbelievable. Then I watched the Out of Shadows documentary. Then I found a mouthy Buddha on YouTube, and he put some stuff about the paedophilia and whatnot. And you research, you get more and more well into the reptilians and with me, it just blew my whole mind, like my eyes. It wasn't like little bits. The veil just went.
Boom.
It just went. And but like me being me, I couldn't keep it to myself, so I started putting it on Facebook and telling people. But straight away, I was crazy. I mean, like how, like here's me putting a photos up of Queen Elizabeth saying that she is a reptilian lizard, and people were calling me absolutely potty.
Oh, I've been there. I'm still there.
Well, I still believe she is a reptilian. Yeah, I just don't tell people about it now.
Well, she's a dead reptilian now.
Yeah, she's been executed, hasn't she?
With hope. I hope either that or they're holding her back for a show trial. I don't know, but yeah.
I believe she's been executed.
I believe she has as well, but we don't really know until it comes out. But it's going to be amazing when it does, and so really, you really woke up when the lockdown happened. Did you know any of this stuff existed at all before that?
No,
nothing.
No idea
at all.
All I did was I'd get up, I'd box, I'd work, I'd go home, I watch the TV maybe a half an hour, and that was that. I'll be honest, I never watched the news, so I was never drawn into that. I didn't listen to the radio, so I was never drawn into that. But I was just in my own little bubble. And then that full of cabal just blew my mind open. I had to find out, like, it's one of those where you just think you've been given the bait, now you got to find out more. And I had to find out more. And then, it just got more on and on and on. But for the first couple of months, up until about April, May, June, up until about June, July time, I was stuck in that fear-based New World Order. Everything's going to, like, ending slavery. I was listening to Charlie Ward, but I was in the fear, kind of like half and half, like, it was quite hard to fathom that underneath the background, Trump and the White Hats were doing all of this work. And I was listening to G&D Code as well, about the guns, which, that was a big eye-opener as well. And then I think it was around the time that I listened to JC's first video about the demons underground, and I said my missus, and I can't remember if she told me or I said to her first, but I think she said to me about it the exact same day I was going to tell her, and I said those demons that JC was talking about, the way she described them and everything was exactly how I saw in my own mind how they were. And then, like, we've both been on the same path where, like, we've been spiritually working on meditating twice a day. I do yoga as well, and we've become so intuitive that like you don't need to like, we're never researching. We just, like, when JC said about the vaccine's not a vaccine. It's like, knew that. Like, just know this vaccine's not happening. You just know.
And it's amazing. Me and JC have been attacked a lot this week.
Okay.
So is Charlie Ward. But Charlie's used to it. He's been attacked a lot this year. Last night, some guy was on one of my videos going, "Why are you supporting a fraud? Blah, 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 blah." JC was in the chat and I was in the chat, and then she started sending him love. So I started sending him love and taking the piss. And then it all kind of calmed down a little bit. But did you have any negative reaction to doing what the mask and the poem from anybody? Did you, or any positive? Did you have anybody even notice it? That's from your perspective.
I've had a few people laugh at it, but I've had no negativity. And this is something that, like, I don't know what you think about it, but it's something that, like, I've been trying to tell people, and Shelley's been trying to tell people. I've never worn a mask, and neither has Shelley, in the shop. never. We've been in loads of shops, Asda, Tesco's, never worn a mask. There's only one time somebody pulled me over and won't let me in. It was a couple of months back. Oh, no, yeah, a couple of months back. And it'd been a hard day. I was tired and I was in a bit of a bad mood. So I dropped down to a third density consciousness. And I walked into Asda in a bit of a glum. Straight away, she come running over. You can't come in. Well, whatever. She goes, no, you can't come in. We've got to kick you out. So I went, bugger, and walked out. Every other time, I've never had any issues not wearing a mask, wearing that sheep mask, like for the fight, having the poem. I've had no issues. And it's almost as if like people don't see you.
It is, yeah.
It's like you're invisible.
It is.
And we think it's because the frequency of vibrating that.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. So like vibrating that third density of anger and fear and stress, people like they have an effect on you. They can see you. But when you're vibrating at like such a high, like you're happy, you've had a great day, you feel good. It's almost as if like you Casper the Ghost, you just walk straight past them.
That's amazing, isn't it?
No, it's brilliant. Like I'm trying to tell people, like they say, I don't want to go to the shop, they make you wear a mask. We say, look, if you're in a great mood, you're vibrating at a high frequency, no one's going to say a word because they have no effect on you. And
yeah, I've had that experience as well. I was wearing a sheep's mask on the back of my head in the Yellow Vest March in Dublin a couple of months ago. And I wrote a poem about it called Last Stand in Dublin. And there was a line in it where we were shouting, take off your masks in the middle of Grafton Street in Dublin. And it was the energy of the crowd was amazing, right? And I remember seeing this guy and he was very well dressed and he had a really expensive mask. You know how people are wearing fucking designer masks like idiots, right? So he was wearing this really expensive mask, really expensive everything, coiffured hair. And I saw him just shaking his head as we were walking past. So I deliberately looked him right in the eye and he couldn't see me. It was like, he couldn't see me. And I was looking at him, getting his attention, couldn't see me at all. It was surreal. So I put that line in the poem because it was like, such a strange experience because we are between these two worlds right now. And it's like getting dragged down into 3D is, when I go drive out and I see them all in the cars and everything, as soon as I've got to just, not react to them at all, because as soon as you react, you come back down to that level. Yeah. But if you can keep at that beautiful, I mean, how do you manage to do that in work? What's that like?
So at the beginning, I think it was around maybe May or June, they tried to force everybody to wear masks. Like they asked everybody, they were just doing what they were told. I had no issues with that, but I put straight to them and said, look, I'm not wearing a mask. These are the health risks, etc., etc. Said, fine, we wear a visor at certain places. Visor don't do nothing, but fine, I'll wear a visor. Just to keep them happy. So I started wearing a visor. Like, it all died down. Nobody was dying over the summer. I'm not even sure if people are dying now, to be honest.
No, they're certainly not dying from the thing that they say they're dying from.
It doesn't exist, does it?
No, because they've never isolated it. And that's on government websites. And that's coming from the Freedom of Information Act. They've never isolated it. That's the first thing. The second thing is viruses are not transmissible between humans unless you inject it or you put it in another way. So exactly. the whole thing's just a scam.
It's just a perception of a virus, which is what they call the fear virus, isn't it? It's the perception of the virus, which people manifest illness into their lives.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at work, like they wanted me to wear a visor. It died down in the summer. To be honest, like I never really wore it that much anyway. It's just annoying. I used to wear it on the side of my head like a baseball cap. And nobody would say a word to me. And then a few weeks back, I all started picking up again with the fear, and they said, look, everyone's got to wear a mask now. Ash, you got to wear a mask in these places, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, can I wear my visor? They said, yeah. I've not put the visor on once. I'm everywhere in the warehouse, everywhere I go. I walk past the manager, I walk past the owner, I walk past line manager, I walk past everybody. everywhere in the warehouse. Not one person I said the word. It's like it's like what you say. Like, they don't even see you. Like, so often, every day, I'm in the back of the warehouse. I haven't got a mask. I haven't got a visor. I'm working, and the line manager or shift manager will look at me. They'll look me straight in my eyes, and they won't say a word. And I'm there, and I'm thinking, I haven't got a mask on. Will they say a word? And I'm smiling, and they just stare at me, or they're staring straight through me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm like, I'm thinking, how, like, I still got away without wearing a mask.
Mind you,
And
Ash, you are a champion boxer. I don't think anybody's going to say anything to you anyway.
yeah, but like, I make a point. I'm not walking around quiet. I'm always walking around. I'm joking. I'm happy. I'm like, I'm making a point of being happy and being outgoing, and I'm always cracking jokes. So it's not as if they can't see me or can't hear me.
Yeah.
But it's so it's so funny. I thought times like this would never come, to be honest.
Mm. So have you got a YouTube channel?
No. Well, I'm on YouTube. I've got a channel, but I'm not really one for social media. I came off Facebook a couple months back. Then I've popped back on it just because of my fight a couple of weeks ago, and I'll probably come back off it again at some point.
Well,
Like,
I'm just thinking, I've got a 16-year-old, right? He walks around in the morning with his six pack and he's doing this all the time. And I'm like, I said, you should do some proper boxing and do some proper training, And I think kids like that would the things that you're saying, they don't want to listen to an old fart like me, but you could have a massive effect on those kids. Have you ever thought about that?
I've given it a little thought. I have given it a little thought, but it's picking up the courage to do it, I suppose.
You just did it in front of millions of people.
Well, true, but there's one thing I'm planning on doing though, and that's like, we all want to start helping the planet, don't we, and helping humanity. So that's part of like what we're trying to manifest with the universe is, helping animals and whatnot. But what I do want to do is I want to start like a little sort of podcast
Yeah.
interview
Yeah.
platform, but I don't want to interview celebrities. I want to interview normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
Like me, like you, that have an inspirational story about their life.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've been interviewed by the BBC,
Yeah.
like Sky Sports, everybody, especially in the last couple of weeks. And when I tell them certain stories about my life, it like they just they lose their words. They're just shell shocked. Like some of the places I've been in my life. Like, one of the reports said the other day, your life's like a Rocky story. I said, well, it is, to be honest. I've been real low and I've come up higher, than being low and come up high. But, normal people don't get the platform to share their inspirational stories to help humanity. So that's definitely one thing I'm looking at doing, is starting up like a podcast interview once a week where just everyday people or Bob down the road can come up for an hour and share their inspirational stories, help humanity, inspire others.
Exactly. And that's really what that's what my YouTube channel is. It's a podcast. It just happens to be like this format,
Brilliant.
I'll help you do it if you want.
That'd be amazing, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, because I think it's so important. It's so important that people do speak their truth. This is the time. It's now. It's not next year. It's now.
Yeah,
so it's amazing.
I mean, I've had, like, when I won the Commonwealth title, I had lots of people message me, telling me about their life, because I had a poster explaining some parts of my life, where I come from, etc., etc. And I had a few people message me. There's one lad in particular that messaged me, and he'd been through, like, I couldn't even dream of going through what he went through, like, for his life. And he really, like, his story really touched me. And I was in touch with him for months after, possibly even a year or so after. I was still in touch. He joined a boxing club near him, you know, and like, I mean, when I say it was on the depths, it was really, really like, you know, at the lowest anyone could have ever been in. But he turned his life around, you know, and I was one of those people, just my story, keeping in contact with him and talking to him, like helped to inspire and motivate him to turn his life around and make something of it. And that's just me. I mean, imagine like him then going and telling his story for other people that inspire hundreds more, that then inspire more again. You know, and that's what I want. Because everybody's got an inspirational story. No matter who they are, they've been through something inspirational in their life. And if we can all share that, imagine how we could change humanity.
That's the way I see it. That's why I started this channel. That's why I'm talking to you, and that's why this is all about. Have you ever seen the film Angels with Dirty Faces?
No.
You need to go and watch that film.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Jimmy Cagney film from the 1930s. I think you really enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that film is really about how one person can have a massive effect, especially on the young people. Because for me, it's about the 12-year-olds, the 13, 14, the ones who are coming up now, who are trapped in this shit still, and you can see them breaking through. You know, like, and it's just really, really important. It's so important for people in the 50s and 60s as well. But you know, I think for the future of the planet, we've got to get the kids. We really got to work on the kids, I think.
Well, they're special. A lot of these kids are special.
Oh,
You know?
Yeah. Like Indigo kids, they're breaking through. The programming is so strong in the school system and everything. But some of them are popping out, and some of them are not. That's what worries me the most. For me, this is all about the kids. You know, when you understand how many 22,000 children go missing every day worldwide, you know, that's over 1 billion children stolen, going into these networks, these underground networks. This satanic pedophilia is so vast, the adrenochrome and all of this, it's all real and it's huge. And most people don't even know it's going on. Most people don't believe it. Some people listening to this will go, well, he's nuts, that's not happening. But it is.
Cognitive dissonance.
Exactly, which is, it's a wonderful thing to break through that. You know, and people like you are so important in this journey that we're all on. And
you know, I've always thought, Mark, when I was a kid, I always thought like I wanted to change the world, and always like deep down, I always thought like I had the power to do it.
You do.
I just didn't know how. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. But now I realize that I have got the power. We've all got the power, because my little bubble of consciousness affects 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 other people's consciousness, which affects some more, which affects the whole bubble.
Well, actually, consciousness is infinite.
Yeah.
So when you vibrate that frequency, you affect everything.
That's it. So, like, you know, all the kids and all the adults, I think, you know, they want to help change the world. They do feel like they want to be the hero. Well, if you're raising consciousness, you are being a hero, because everything that's going on right now, it's not a war fought with guns and knives and, you know, tanks. It's fought with the spirit. It's fought with our souls. And like, that's something that I've realized. And you know, I mean, doing what I can do to help raise consciousness, just like you, it's to be honest, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
it's the most beautiful thing there is.
Yeah, speaking your truth. That's exactly what you're doing.
It's extremely liberating, and it's you know, it's absolutely gobsmacking. I get so many. I mean, it's taken over my life. I'm getting emails all over the world every day saying incredible things. I'm not really taking them on board because there's so many of them. Because it's like there's a job to do. I've got a mission, and I'm doing what I've got to do. And so there's all these amazing other people like JC, who's become a really good friend, and there's Charlie Ward. You should go on. I'll get you on their shows if you want.
if you want, Mark, I'm up for anything.
Yeah, you should definitely go and speak to them, because they've got much bigger audiences than me, and you've got a really important thing to say. And you should.
I think it's the way that people tell it and explain it, which can help, isn't it? Because I think when I've explained things, people turn around and say to me, they're like, "I'm really philosophical," or "I'm wise beyond my years." You know, I mean, people like I got told the other day I looked 18, which I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been told that, but that's nice.
But it's sometimes it's how you explain it. Uh, it just helps other people to for it just to click, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we all connect with people in different ways, don't we? And this is why it's important. What's amazing about the people that are talking about these subjects right now is that they're all ordinary people that have come from all sorts of different backgrounds and all sorts of things, and it just takes one hook to one connection, and then that sets you off on a journey. And that's what I hope all these conversations do, is trigger one little thing that then breaks down the walls, and then people can start finding out who they really are, because that's what this is about, is finding out who we really are, because we're not what we think we are. We're much more powerful than we think we are.
So how did you get into your spirituality and everything then, Mark?
Well, my first memory was being recruited by demons when I was about 4 years old in Budbrook, and I don't know if you know anything about Budbrook, but there was like a religious cult there called the Jesus Fellowship, the Jesus Army.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I had a friend in the Jesus Army.
Yeah, so did I. So I grew up in the village with that growing around me, and the guy that set that up was a paedophile, and he'd abused my dad, and I ended up being abused by a doctor that was in it, and there was just abuse everywhere. And I think that was all part of my own personal, because we've all got an individual journey, right? And then I ended up being in the military. So I joined the military, and I saw things in there that I didn't like. And a couple of my friends committed suicide. So I got out of that. And then I was writing loads of poetry. And then I just had a completely interesting 20 years when I did lots of different things. But then spiritually, I kind of turned against God when I turned my dad's life support machine off when I was 17. I stood outside the Chapel of Rest shouting, "I hate you," at the sky. Even though I had a very strong connection, and I was extreme, I'd had a couple of out of body experiences. I was psychic. I could see ghosts, all that kind of stuff when I was a kid. And then I denied it and I blocked it out. And then I got, alcohol got very big in my life. Drugs got big in my life, and all of it. Then I got married, had 5 kids, traveled around the world, and then got into business. That gave me a phenomenal focus. My kids are everything to me. And it was really like about 8-10 years ago, it really, really kicked in. It was just like one experience after another, each of which was knocking me down so I could get up again. It's a bit like a boxing match, actually. I mean, it's like, what is it Rocky? It's not how many times you get hit, it's how many times you get up off the floor. I can't remember who said that, whether that was Sylvester Stallone or an actual boxer. But then I had a massive knockout a couple of years ago, which took me to the brink of thinking about taking my own life, and then I got through that somehow, and it's all brought me to here. And I've always trusted the universe to show me what it needs to show me to get to where I need to go. And I've had big successes in business, I've had big lows, I've had failed marriage, I've had loads of things, but it's such a journey. That's why I called this Adventures in a Meat Suit, because we're spirits having adventures in a human experience. So for me, it's about exploring all of this, connecting with people, inspiring people, and hopefully showing, making mistakes on the way when none of us are perfect, but just following that path, following the path, because you once you recognize the voice, you can't ignore it. You're an idiot to ignore it, because it takes you to incredible places, and it gets you through incredible adversity, doesn't it?
Well, what I find it, I always used to laugh at people that did yoga and meditated.
Me too.
Crazy.
Yeah, I did. Me too.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because I used to do that. Now I do yoga every day, and I meditate twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And meditating is one of my most favorite things to do now. It's when you close your eyes, and it's just, it can take you to some beautiful places.
Oh, I'm about to be attacked by one of my kids coming in. God, we talked for a bit. I'm just on a chat here, son. Just come in from school. What? I'm just on a chat here. So normally runs in and is the other one coming? Oh, no, yeah, it's throwing me off the train of thought there. But let's get you on. Let's get you out there on YouTube.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And are you going to do any more boxing? Are you done?
Well, I've just paid for New Year's medical, so I might as well get my money's worth, ain't I?
Yeah. Let's have you back in the ring.
I'll carry on boxing. You know, I wasn't sure what was going on with everything happening. You know, I mean, listening to a few spiritual people, one page in particular, you know, I thought that like we was all going to be evacuating this planet and going off to a new planet and whatnot. But when you really listen to your intuition, you know that's not happening because everything is just frequency. So this new planet is just the same. We're all here. It's just a different frequency. But then it's like I listened to the guy called Everyday Lives. Michael, his name is, and he says we don't live on a planet. We live in a band of frequencies.
That's right.
It's true, and that's how this new world's coming in through this band of frequencies.
Yeah.
So you know, now listening to my intuition and knowing that, I'll carry on boxing. You know, so just pay for new medical. I've got to carry on.
Good.
Now I know I'm being evacuated.
You're only 30, aren't you? You're still young.
Well, yeah, I'm 30, but I look and feel younger, so that's all right.
So one selfish thing I'm going to ask you is, I've got a son, Joe, and I keep telling him he's got to use his body now while he's got it. So can you just give him a personal message and tell him why he should do some training?
All right, Joe, you should do training. It's good for your mind, good for your body, good for your spirit. The best thing you can do is look after your body. That's the best thing you can do. It's a gift to have it. Nourish it with the right food, do the right exercises, and give it plenty of rest and water. Best thing you can do.
That's brilliant. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, Ash.
No problem.
It's been fantastic chatting to you. I'm going to have to go because I've got to run around with the kids now. That's the thing about real life and doing all of this. But I can't thank you enough, and thanks Shelley for me. Yep. And
Marcus, thank you.
Oh, is she there?
No, she's upstairs.
Oh, brilliant. And have you watched the Abracadabra Code videos that we've been doing on the channel?
No, I was going to ask you about that. Like, I've seen them. I just haven't had the time to listen.
Oh, you're gonna like those. We're doing part 5 this weekend. It's going to be absolutely mental.
Okay, so if it was part 1 and then move on.
Well, if you can handle it, it's a bit of a. You'll see when you watch it.
Yeah. All right. I look forward to that. We'll watch part 1 tonight.
Yeah, have a go, and come on one of the abracadabras because that'd be fun. But if you like it, you know. But listen, good luck with everything. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I'll be in touch about the other things we talked about.
Yep. Nice one, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Take care. See you.